Sorry, I was just feeling it. What's going on? What's going on, y'all? How's everybody doing today? What's going on? It's your boy Truth. We on today, going live. Welcome to Truth Be Told. If you guys don't know already, once again, we here. All right. I got my YouTube over here, and I got my TikTok over here. Um, Going live on at the same time. So if you see me looking to the sides and whatnot, just know I'm not crazy or anything like that. All right. So, um, if you guys haven't already, well, I want to start off with this. Start off with this and say I hope you guys so far. I hope everybody's having a good start to the new year. You know, it's a good start to the year. I hope you're having a good start. You know, if you have any goals that you're trying to strive for, you know, like I said in one of my previous videos, strive small, aim small. Don't try to overdo it, because then if you overdo it, then you know, that's how a lot of people fail at getting to their goals. You know what I'm trying to say? So, you know, we're trying to, you know, make these goals accomplishable, if that's even a word, or if it's not a word, we made it a word today. You feel me? But yeah, we want our goals to be you know, easily accomplished versus making it harder for ourselves. So once again, I just hope you guys are having a so far a good start to the new year. Um, you know, I know that last year was a little shaky. Hopefully this year's a better year for everybody. And yeah, you know, I think it's important that we just find our niche, find, you know, you know, our ground where our life can be pointed in the right direction versus, you know, being held back. You know what I'm trying to say? As life is progressing, we are trying to progress as well. You know, we're not trying to go backwards. You know what I'm trying to say? So think about it like that. You know what I'm trying to say? Where if life is progressing, why would you want to stay with your negative mindset? You get what I'm trying to say? Life is progressing and moving forward. So shouldn't we do the same thing? Hey, okay then. You know, you don't. So try to like isolate yourself from like the naysayers, the negative-minded people. You know, the Demi Downers, the people who like the crab in the bucket. You know the little theory, the crab in the bucket, where you're trying to do better in life. You're trying to, you know, elevate in life, and you got those people that's just they're just trying to pull you down for no reason at all, because they can't do anything better themselves. So they rather just invest their time into just bringing you down with them. Nah, bruh. This new season, we can't, you know, we can't give our time into all of that. So once again, I wish you guys are so far having a good time. You know, so far a good start to your year. Um, if you guys haven't seen already by the title, this title um, it's something special. It's something different. Something that not a lot of people talk about. Um, the last two videos actually that I touched on, if you guys haven't seen already, was talking about how women and men. It was two separate videos actually. One was speaking directly to the women, and then the other video was speaking directly towards the men about how basically you can find your spouse, right? So each video, I basically went a little in detail on how each individual, how a woman can find their spouse, and not just any spouse, by the way. I ain't talking about, you know, one of those like gimmicks of like, oh, how can you find a girl? Like, no, I'm talking about if you're trying to find your number, your number one, like the one that God has for you type deal. Like, trust me, I don't like to beat around the bush. I'm a very direct kind of type of guy. So um yeah, so on each video I pretty much spoke to the men and the women, speaking directly to each one, saying, it's kind of like putting you guys on a little game on how, um, the women can find their spouse and how men can find their spouse. You know what I'm trying to say? And it's a real thing. It's a real thing out here. So if you haven't already, go check that out. It might help. You never know. Never know. And this one's gonna be once again a little different. This one's gonna be a little different. This one's touching on the two witnesses. All right. This one's touching on the two witnesses. Now I know a lot of people don't know about the two witnesses, and honestly, the two witnesses is a topic that not a lot of people talk about. It's crazy actually. Now that we thinking about it, I'm talking about it. It's an area that not a lot of people talk about, and I think I know why. I'll tell you why in a second, right? Um, Before I do that, just think to yourself if you even know who the two witnesses are. Have you ever heard of the two witnesses, right? And now going back to the first point, what I was saying, like basically why I don't think um, it's spoken about a lot is because the two witnesses they're basically in the Bible, right? They're in Scripture, right? And they are supposed to be two people or two. It's a lot of controversy about it, right? Where some people think it's two people, some people think it's two groups of people, all right, that are supposed to come together uh, in the end days. Now, if you're watching this, there's two types of people watching this right now. There's those that are aware because those who kind of follow God closer, you follow God, his ways, his teachings, things like that, you're more aware, you just know things more. Those who are more worldly, you don't follow God, you don't even believe in God, this and that, those people are kind of lost because they don't know. I'm not going to say they don't know anything because everybody got their knowledge in their different fields, but in this specific topic you won't know much about because this is a topic that um, specifically and directly talks about the end days. All right, the end days, the end times. So let me give you an example of what I just said. So if I were to ask someone who didn't follow God, right, at all, didn't follow God, didn't believe in God, I asked you, what do you know about the end days, the end times and end days? More than likely, people who don't know or who don't follow after God, you probably won't be able to give me much of an answer. You probably wouldn't give me much of an answer. You wouldn't know what to say towards like the end times, end days. All right? I'm sure if you're watching this, you're probably like, hey, he's kind of right. Yeah, maybe so. And because I feel like in order for you to know something about the end times, end days, or the end times, end days, is basically you have to be put on a little bit about on game. You have to know something about God. You have to be following God, things of that nature. Um, Now the end time. Let me give you a little description. The end times, end days, is supposed to be a time frame where you see a lot of judgment happening in the world, right? And the end times, end days is basically an area in time and in life where it's supposed to be a marking, a marking, and some sort of a like a recognition time frame where it marks um, where basically Jesus will be revealed. All right, where he comes back. When Jesus comes back, he's supposed to come back, and he tells everybody basically warning signs like, hey, listen, before I come back, these things are gonna be happening. These are the things you're gonna have to look out for. All right, so that's just to put you on game as to what the end times, that little description of what the end times is. It's a series of events happening right? Back to back, and it's in a certain time frame. And most of them obviously are not good. Most of them are not good. Like most of them are really not good, actually. I think if not, I want to say all of them. I think all of them are not good, to be honest with you. It's supposed to be considered a time frame where judgment from God is happening to the earth, to the world around us. Um, I believe there were seven seals. Don't quote me if I might be wrong. I think it's about seven seals that are supposed to be opened and released. And with each seal that's released, something is supposed to happen, whether it's a famine or an earthquake or like some sort of a death penalty. Um, and basically, it's like basically seals that God is telling each angel to release. Okay, and now the two witnesses, because this is what we're talking about today, the two witnesses, right? The two witnesses are supposed to be open, or they come to the scene, right? They come to the scene at about the seventh seal being opened. Okay, so the two witnesses basically come at the very end, and the two witnesses are supposed to be a representation of God's. They represent God basically. All right, they're supposed to represent God. Now, I made a statement earlier, and I wanted to kind of fall back on it, where I said there's not a lot spoken about the two witnesses, and you know, around really. If you look around on many platforms or many churches, things like that, a lot of churches are not covering the two witnesses, and I think I know why that is. And I'll tell you why I think that is. And I don't know if they'll try to come for me or anything like that. But hey, you know, my name ain't Truth for nothing. So, you know, I like to talk the truth, and we gonna talk it. So, um, I feel like the topic of the two witnesses, and if you're listening to this, let me know. Let me know if I'm wrong or if I'm right. If you know about this, basically, where let me know if your church or any church that you've ever been to has ever spoken to you about the two witnesses. Have you ever heard a sermon on the two witnesses? I bet you probably haven't heard much of sermons on the two witnesses. That's because a lot of these churches are basically um they're only told to speak on certain topics. There are certain topics, I believe, well, not just believe, it's kind of factual, that there are certain topics that they're told not to talk about. Okay? And the reason behind this is because some topics hold too much truth. A lot of churches are supposed to only discuss kind of like I guess we can say almost like surface level topics. Um, yeah, surface topic things. Um, they, you won't see. I mean, you'll see some talk about like homosexuality, things like that. Some don't even talk about homosexuality. It's just different levels to it. It's different levels to it. You honestly, actually, to go while we're already here, let's just talk a little bit more about it. You probably won't even hear a lot of churches talk about. Um, Remember, my name's Truth now, so I got to speak 100% truth. You probably won't hear a lot of churches talk about the you know the true origins of the Bible. How basically how Hebrews, the true Hebrews or Jews, were black. You'll never really hear that coming out of their mouth. You'll never hear that coming out of their mouth, right? Um, what's another one? Another one would be Whoop whoop. I saw that. Appreciate that. I'm trying to think of another one that I know a lot of churches probably wouldn't want to talk about. Dang. I had it and it kind of like slipped past my mind. I'm trying to think of topics that churches will not talk about. That's like it basically holds too much truth. I had one, but then it slipped past my mind. I'm trying to remember. What was it? What was it? Um, it's actually a lot, but I was trying to find a specific one, and it slipped past my mind. It'll come back when it comes back. But anyways, one of them being the topic of today's discussion, guys, which is the two witnesses. You won't hear a lot of churches talk about the two witnesses, and I don't. I mean, I don't know. I know, but then I don't know. I I know that they aren't supposed to talk on certain topics because one, it holds too much revelation, it holds too much truth, where a lot of whoever funds a lot of these churches, they don't want you to be placed in true light. They'll give you enough light, enough truth to just keep you in line versus giving you the entire thing, and they'll keep like the bigger portion of the truth to themselves, right? And once again, one of them being the two witnesses. All right, one of them being the two witnesses, and this is actually a really big one because a lot of churches won't talk about two witnesses because the two witnesses are supposed to be coming at the seventh seal. When the seventh seal happens, basically it's like the last. That's when the two witnesses come at the very end. That's when you know like Jesus is coming back. Jesus is here. That's the ending of that. That's actually why a lot of churches don't talk about the two witnesses because and actually quote me on this. Quote me on this. Now that I'm on this too, let me go over this as well. Speaking of the return of Jesus, right? Why do you think a lot of churches focus more on his death and rebirth, his past? Think about that for a second. You guys ever like thought about that where it's like churches almost always bring up like the past of Jesus, his just how his all his past, but they'll never talk about him coming back or what he's supposed to do when he comes back, right? See, you see how they always only give you enough. They only give you enough truth instead of giving you like the whole like steak. They give you like some milk and just send you on your way. Once again, like if you haven't thought about that, like how churches talk about Jesus' past, like what he did and how he died and came back on the third day, like you'll hear them talk about that, but you'll rarely hear them talk about him coming back in the future and what he's supposed to do. You rarely hear about that. You rarely hear about that. That's because they're paid not to really speak on that. But today we're gonna talk about the two witnesses. All right. So let's get into it. And it's gonna be brief. I'll try not to make it too long. I didn't really plan on making this too long. So let's get into the two witnesses. Let's talk a little bit about the two witnesses and see what's up with them, right? Okay. So now the two witnesses, right? Some points of the two witnesses. I got 2 points. Two primary points I want to bring to the forefront about what they are supposed to embody or represent. Okay, what their goal is, what their agenda is, what they're supposed to be doing in a sense. All right. So now, point number one for the two witnesses, right, is that they are supposed to provide a powerful, miraculous. They're supposed to be like a witness to a rebellious world during the darkest times. Okay, echoing God's judgment in history. All right. they're supposed to basically be God's two. There's supposed to be two people, two individuals. Let's say two individuals that are supposed to represent God, right? And they're supposed to also be like an example, an example of God, that God is real, and it's supposed to be in in these dark times where times are dark, and God's basically going to use these two to show that He's real. Okay, that's one point. All right, now let's go on to point number two. Now, point number two of the two witnesses, right, is their death and resurrection will demonstrate God's ultimate power over death and the beasts, like the beast system, serving as basically like a final warning before judgment. All right, that their resurrection and ascension serves as a powerful testament to God's victory over evil, even after defeat. The two witnesses, once again, are supposed to demonstrate God's ultimate power, and they're supposed to serve as like the final warning before judgment. They're basically a representation of God's final warning of judgment. Now, what's supposed to happen with the two witnesses is they're supposed to each go through something where it's basically considered death. In the Bible, I mean, I'll read. I think I'll have a verse for that. But in the Bible, they talk about how the two witnesses are supposed to die. Like in the Bible, it's considered. It looks like a physical death, but to be honest with you, I take things more spiritually. I look at things more spiritually. I don't think it's a physical death. I think it's a spiritual death, and I'll tell you in a second why I feel that is. But the two witnesses are supposed to die, technically die, and be resurrected, kind of like how Jesus was. But God is going to be the one to resurrect them. They won't do it on their own power. Okay, they won't do it on their own power. God is going to be the one to do it. And once again, this is supposed to represent how God can basically turn anything around. That's what it's supposed to represent. Two people going through something that God brings together. I mean, I'm gonna go more into detail about it. Two people that are going through something come together. They die. They go through a death, and God brings them back up. All right, those are the 2 points I want us to look at. The 2 points that I brought to the forefront, as far as what they embody. All right. So now, once again, the two witnesses, right? Who are they? Let's talk about the who are they. All right. Now the who, a lot of people, it's like, once again, it's like a lot of speculation about who the two witnesses are. The two witnesses are considered two representations of God who are supposed to come to a certain time in the end days. All right. Now, the identity of the two witnesses to the world is a mystery. There are no exact names, but there are many descriptions given towards them in the Bible. All right, in the book of Revelations, around chapter 11. Now, chapter 11, it leaves a few clues. All right, it leaves a few clues for us as to who they are and in their purpose. Okay? As far as their identity, many believe it could be. How many of you guys have heard that it could be like Enoch and Elijah? How many people heard that? Like Enoch and Elijah they're going to be the two witnesses, Enoch and Elijah, right? Some people even think it's going to be Elijah and Moses. How many people heard that one? It's going to be Elijah and Moses, or Enoch and Moses. Why did people think that? That's because they think that because that these individuals in Scripture, they didn't really taste death. They didn't taste death. They didn't die. These individuals, Moses died, but the other two didn't. Elijah and Enoch didn't die. God just called them up. He just called them up in a chariot of fire. All right. And yeah, a lot of people are saying that, but there's no indication that it's Moses, Elijah, Enoch. Nowhere does it say it's any of them, that those guys are coming back. Now, let me see, hold on. Yeah, all right. Now, basically, people think that because they haven't tasted death, that these individuals can come back at any time, and once again, it's never been actually written. Now, it's a solid and interesting theory. It's a solid and interesting theory, and I even thought this view was applicable myself at some point, but then I was like, it never actually says it in the Scripture, so we can't just take that and run with it, right? But now, let me say this. But now, I think it's a bit deeper than that. I'll just give you my opinion, right? I'll give you my opinion on the details. Now, I've encountered, it's even been said that it will be two male figures that will be the two witnesses, right? I'm pretty sure everybody thought that, thinks the same thing, that it's gonna be two male figures. It also doesn't even say that in Scripture. It doesn't even say it's gonna be two males. Scripture never specified if it would even be two men. What it does say is that they are two lampstands and two olive trees. It says it's going to be two lampstands. It does give a little description, and it says they're going to be two lampstands and two olive trees. Okay, now they represent the law and the prophet. That's what the two witnesses are supposed to represent: the law and the prophet. Ooh, excuse me. Ooh, had to let that one. All right, I got it. Ooh, got it. All right. So now, let's see. Let me. I want to actually read. I would have to. Let me see something. 1 second. I don't think I brought my. No, I didn't bring it. Okay. So I encourage. This is what I will do then, because I don't have it. I don't have it with me. Is I will encourage, if you do have a Bible, if you want to read on them yourself to see the details, I'll tell you on where exactly to go, so you can see exactly where it speaks on them. All right. Read Revelations 11. Go to Revelations chapter 11 and read there on the two witnesses. You'll see. You'll see about them. But for context, read chapters 10 before you read chapter 11. Okay, read Revelations 10 and then read Revelations 11. That way you can get a better idea on the two witnesses. All right. I definitely want you guys to like have a better understanding on who on their role, who they are, what they're supposed to be doing when they come back, because it's really important actually. Something that a lot of people don't even know about. It's crazy. A lot of people are walking blindly in the world, and of course the churches are not telling us this. They don't want you to be warned by God's true judgment. There are some churches that are not feeding you the full truth. Okay, I don't want to say all, but there are a lot of churches that are not feeding you the full truth. That's why you don't hear a lot of churches talking about the end days. How many churches do you hear talking about the end days? Not many, right? You hear them talking about, oh, prosperity, or oh, Jesus loves you, and oh, they talk about all the things that Jesus did, right? They talk about all the things that Jesus did, but you rarely hear about them talking about the end days, the judgment that's coming, what Jesus himself will do when he comes back. You don't even hear that. You hear them talk about Jesus' past, but you don't hear them talk about Jesus' future. Why? That's a question we should all ask them, right? Now, I want you all to read Revelations 10 and 11 to get a better understanding, right, on the two witnesses. And when you do read it, try to read it from more of a spiritual understanding, and not just from your physical understanding, not from a physical understanding. The text, you'll think of it from a physical aspect because everybody thinks of it physically. When you do read it, I want you to try to read it from a physical understanding first. Try to grasp it from a physical aspect, point of view. Not from a literal or physical, your literal physical lens, but from a spiritual. That's the key. That's the key, because it'll go over a lot of people's heads. It'll seem like plain, but it's like, it's not just plain, it's more 3D. You know how 3D is more circular, it's more in your face. 3D, like, that's how it is. It's more like, yeah. That's the best example I can give you for 3D. If you look at it, right? If you look at it from a literal and physical kind of point of view, you'll miss a lot. You will miss a lot. You got to try to see it from a spiritual. All right. Ooh, sorry. So I want to say this. So now we understand, right, that the two witnesses are raised up, right? They're raised up before the seventh trumpet sounds. Remember, I said that the two witnesses are going to be coming around the time of the seventh trumpet. So basically, the two witnesses are going to be the event that happens directly before the final trumpet sounds. The final trumpet, there are seven trumpets, and each of these trumpets are basically judgments of God to the world. This is something that you probably won't hear a lot of churches tell you about, because tell me, how have you heard your church teach you about the seven trumpets, teaching you on that, or did you yourself have to go and find that information out by yourself? I bet you your church probably didn't teach you on that. They didn't teach you about the seven trumpets, the seven judgments. That was funny. Yeah, like, you know, the seven trumpets are supposed to be the judgments of God in the end days, the end times. But you won't hear a lot of churches teaching you on this because they don't want you to be ready for it. But your boy got you. All right, your boy got you. He wants you to be ready for it. All right. And once again, these two witnesses are supposed to come before the seventh trumpet sounds. That's when the two witnesses are supposed to, that's their time frame. It goes two witnesses, then the seventh trumpet. So basically all the other trumpets, they're been done. I'll even tell you, I'll give you one example. I forget which number trumpet it was. I think it was either 3 or 4. The 3 or 4th trumpet was basically the Euphrates River being dried up. You got okay. Now, how many people on here remember seeing that in the news outlet or whatever, anywhere? You're seeing that anywhere on social media, seeing how the Euphrates River dried up. How many people saw that? How many people saw that, heard about it, saw it, you know, anywhere? Have you even seen it anywhere? Have you seen how the Euphrates River dried up? That was one of the trumpets. That was one of the trumpets. It's written in scripture. If you heard about it anywhere, that's where it happened first. It was ordained to happen. God made one of the angels cause that water to basically dry up. All right, that was just one of the judgments. The other ones they're actually a little more gruesome, but you know, we're not gonna get into all that. I just want to keep it PG for the children. You know, we're gonna keep it light, So once again, the two witnesses are supposed to come through right before the seventh trumpet sounds. That's when they come to the forefront. All right, so it'll be the two witnesses, the situation that happens with them, and then the seventh trumpet after them. And the seventh trumpet, I believe, was God's final judgment. It was definitely God's final judgment. All right. Now, and when the seventh angel, the seventh trumpet sounds, that is when there will be a declaration in heaven. That's when there will be a declaration in heaven that the kingdoms of the world will be handed to and given to the kingdom of the Son of God. The seventh trumpet is supposed to be a celebration trumpet, that the worldly kingdoms, it's been accomplished, that the worldly kingdoms have been given to the Son of God. It's kind of hard listening to it because we're all like in the world. This is like for a lot of people, it's like a first time hearing stuff like this. You know, a lot of people think more on the physical aspect versus the spiritual aspect. I mean, honestly, things happen in the physical too. I mean, all this happening is going to be physical too. It's not just going to be spiritual and that's it. No. It's been said that Jesus is going to be coming back, right? And remember how I told you a lot of churches won't actually tell you that? They won't speak on the coming back of Jesus. You hear a lot of people talking about Jesus, you know, Jesus in the past, Jesus, you know, how he died and resurrected for us, he died for us and things like that. But you won't hear a lot about him coming back, how he's coming back with a sword. He's not coming back to make peace. He's coming back with a sword to bring judgment. You don't hear a lot of them talk about that. You hear a lot of churches talking about how Jesus peace, this and that, just on the peaceful side. You want to hear, they want to hear that you know, they want to teach you on the, speak about the peaceful aspect of it, but not the judgment side. See, God is a just God. He's not just going to give you one side of the coin and not give you the other side. He's a just God. He's right down the middle. He loves you. Of course he loves you. People be like, oh yeah, God, you know, a lot of people like to use God as an excuse, like, and because I guess if we are considered, if we even pass any kind of judgment, if his people pass any kind of judgment, they'll run to him quickly and be like, oh, God would love me just the way that I am. Why can't you? God wouldn't pass judgment. That's not true. God would pass judgment. You really think God wouldn't pass judgment at all? Then what kind of God would he be? Right? If God was only a loving God only, and he never passed judgment, I think this world would be way worse, actually. How many people agree that if God was only a loving God only, he never passed judgment, how many people believe that this world would be far worse because he only loved and he didn't pass judgment? Think about that. Like, right? Like, you need structure as well. You can't just love heavy and that's it. You need structure. Yes, it's obviously it's good to love. I'm not taking away the love part. But the love is half of it. You can't have one half without the other half. People only think about God from a loving aspect and the loving point. Like, yeah, God's love. Yeah, God is love. But God also passes judgment when judgment is needed to be passed. Because we can be hard-headed a lot of times. We can be hard-headed, right? Like, we can be hard-headed. Let's just be real. So God is going to do what he has to do a lot of times to pass judgment, to get us back in, get us back in check, get us back in line. You know? For example, let me give you another example. It's gotten even worse. Why do you see now they've gone to the extent of taking God is love, and they exchange God is love for love is love. You see what they did there? You see the audacity in that? You see what happens when you don't have judgment? Because then they can just do whatever they want and try to get away with whatever they want. The statement God is love came first before love is love. They just came out of nowhere and tried to pervert God's word and change it and to tweak it into their understanding, into their ways, really, not even their understanding, just their ways, because they wanted to be rebellious. When you purposely want to be rebellious, you're gonna make it happen. Trust me. When you're purposely rebellious, you're gonna make it happen. You look at let's look at some examples. Look at Nimrod. Nimrod in the Bible, as a man, boldly went up against God by himself. Nimrod boldly, as a man, went up against God by himself. Wild, right? Here's another example how if we want to be rebellious, we'll be rebellious. Look at Samson. Look at Samson. Um, I mean, really, honestly, it's pretty much most people in the Bible. Now that I think about it. So with Samson, let me finish with Samson. With Samson, what did he do? He had God gave him the like crazy strength and power, right? But because of his lusts, he fed into his lusts. He wanted to be driven by his lust, so he went for his Delilah, which was the person that ended up being his end. He was driven to just go for Delilah so much that it ended up taking away from his calling. Right? Look at David. David is another example. When you want to be rebellious, you will make a way. When David saw when he saw Bathsheba showering on a rooftop, what did he decide to do? He decided to end her husband's life. I was trying to find a word. I was trying not to say the other word. He decided to end her husband's life and sleep with her. You see what great lengths people will go to if there is no judgment? That's why you need both love and judgment, because this world would be chaos without judgment. It really would be. People think that judgment and discipline is cruel, but it's not. Judgment and discipline is not cruel. Give me 1 second, y'all. Give me 1 second. Turn on this here AC. I had my windows down. But now I got my AC running. All right, look. So we see that we need we do need a level of discipline in this world. We do. If we say no, then we're lying to ourselves. We're either lying to ourselves or we choose to feed into the negative side. We choose to be on the wrong side of the coin. Right? Once again, God is love. But he also is a righteous God. Like he needs to cast judgment where judgment needs to be casted. We can't just, a lot of people just only think about the love aspect of God, but they completely leave out and forget that he needs to be just. He needs to cast judgment too. That's why you hear a lot of people in the world when like Christian people go to them and you know, like, I guess cast some kind of judgment or seem judgmental, right? What a lot of people will do is they'll instantly be like, you know, they'll go into the defense mode and be like, don't judge me, you can't judge me, only God can judge me, this and that, da 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 da. Not realizing that the moment they spoke those words, God has already judged you too. He did judge you. He did judge you. If you're doing something wrong, whatever it was, if someone called you out on something, and you're instead of acknowledging it and trying to adjust it yourself, instead of trying to do that, but instead you go into the defense mode and you go into bashing the person, saying you can't call me out, you can't judge me, only God can judge me. You don't think God judges you? You think God's gonna sit there and let you do what you're doing? If you're doing something if you're doing anything kind of bad, you don't think God's sitting there like, nah, don't do that. You think he's gonna be like, yeah, go ahead, take that person out, or yeah, go ahead and curse that person out, or yeah. Think, and it can be big things or to the smallest of things. Really, it ain't gotta be nothing grand. if you even think ill towards somebody, you even have hatred in your heart towards somebody, that alone, God is like, no. But people don't even think about that. I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you. I got, hold on one second. I want to read this one. This is good. Lorney, right? Lorney Chadwell. All right, so Lorney says, sin knows a very temporary season. Oh, that's really good. Dang, I like that. Let me read that one out loud again, for the folk. So Lorney or Lornay says, sin knows a very temporary season of enjoyment. Oh man, that was music to my ears. That was so good. I like that one. 100%. 100%. I agree. It does. Sin is temporary. I'm sure I'm sure a lot of us have had stories where honestly we can just think to ourselves that we regret. As you're watching this, I'm sure there are sinful stories that we all have had that we regret. I know I have. I don't know if you guys have, but I know I have. Like, there are certain things I think I can think back on. I'm like, that didn't even need to happen. Like, that was so dumb of me. Like, I could have definitely done better without. But because of temporary enjoyment and pleasures, the things that we see or whatever, just the feeling of life, the enjoyment of life, like that thrill that we just want ourselves so badly. We want it in that moment. Not worth it. That one couple moments of pleasure, not worth it. Whatever it is, not worth it. It really isn't worth it. You'll be much I even go as far as saying you go further in life if you can stay away from certain sins and whatnot. If you can stay away from certain sins in life, I bet you'll be a little further in life. I'll even say I bet you'll be further along in life than even where we are now. We would definitely be further along. Because sin definitely holds us back. It does. It's a temporary enjoyment for sure. Appreciate that. Appreciate that actually. Love that actually. Love that a lot. Shoot me a follow. Shoot me a follow. So let's get back on track here as well. Talking about the two witnesses, guys. Talking about the two witnesses. Something that I'm sure a lot of people probably have not, heard about. A lot of people probably don't know who the two witnesses are. They're completely oblivious to the two witnesses because a lot of churches don't speak about the two witnesses. And a lot of the reasons, or one of the reasons why I feel like a lot of churches don't speak on the two witnesses is because a lot of churches are paid not to speak on certain topics. Confirmation. A lot of churches are not told or they're told not to speak on certain topics, and I feel like the two witnesses are one of those topics because the two witnesses are supposed to be a specific and what's the word I'm looking for? Precise point in time where it's supposed to be like a warning sign for the world, to be like a warning, like a big warning flag. And a lot of those who run this world, they don't want you to be aware. They want you to be in the dark. To keep it simple. Let me just try to keep it simple. All right. Now, let's get back on track here real quick. Now, the last thing that I had said before was the two witnesses are supposed to um be, hold on one second, let me put this phone on charge. I definitely don't want this dying on me, because that'd be the worst thing to happen. I'll have to probably even move it over here. Sorry guys, sorry if I don't want to bump your head. Boom boom. Ooh, look at that clutch. All right, let's do it. Hopefully it stays on charge and all that there. All right, now what happens at the with the two witnesses, right? After the whole situation happens, what's supposed to happen now, and reason, once again, one of the reasons why I feel like a lot of churches aren't speaking about the two witnesses is because the at the end of the two witnesses, right? The kingdom, what's supposed to happen is there's supposed to be, after the two witnesses, there's going to be the seventh trumpet. All right, the seventh trumpet. Now, what does the seventh trumpet signify? What does it mean? After the situation with the two witnesses, the seventh trumpet is an indication. This is why I feel like a lot of churches don't want to talk about this. The seventh trumpet comes right after the two witnesses, directly after. And the seventh trumpet is supposed to be an indication that, well, it's an indication and a celebration in heaven. We won't know, but it's gonna happen. I mean, we're gonna know too, because it's happening in the spiritual, but it's gonna happen too in the physical. But it's an indication that the kingdoms of the world has successfully been turned over to the Son of God. That's what the seventh trumpet is supposed to signify, represent. That's what it means. It's an indication that the kingdoms of the world has successfully been turned over to God. That's what this world does not want us to know about. Why? Because this world, who's running this world? Who's like behind the scenes running the shots right now? Who's behind the media? You really think the devil, I don't want to say the word, but it is what it is. You really think the devil and his henchmen are going to want to turn the world over? You really think that? Or you think he wants to maintain his power forever and ever? But guess what? When you have a God in power, a true God in position, you can't override him. The devil is a creation. He's not God's equal. A lot of people think that the devil is God's rival. Like they're equal in power. Like it's God versus the devil. God versus the devil. How many people thought that? God versus the devil. There is no equal, by the way. There is no equal. They're not equal in power at all. Far from it. God is just he's just letting the devil do his thing. There's a difference. He hasn't put his foot down yet. There's going to be a time where he is going to do it. Don't get it twisted. But he's just kind of like letting things play out. He's using the devil, if anything. He's using the devil to get people in check, to get people in line. Because when I said that, people were probably like, wait, what? God's using the devil, this and that. Yeah, he does use the devil. A lot, actually. He uses the devil to get us in check, basically. When we step out of line, that's when he uses the devil. How many people know about the story of Job? Even though Job didn't step out of line, he still used Job's story as an example. But likewise with us, see,
We're not as righteous as Job. So you don't think God's just gonna have something like, let the devil do his thing. If you're being purposely rebellious, you don't think God's gonna let the devil do his thing in our lives, you know, for a time. I mean, and he's not an evil God, so he obviously has an end point. He has a a button that says enough. But he uses the devil, or he uses darkness to get us in check, to get us back in line, to get us back in right standings with him, to get it to, in other words, to get our attention. A lot of us are hard-headed. Let's be real. I know I am. I'm still hard-headed. I ain't I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with you. I'm not perfect. So that's how I know a lot of us need a lot of work. We all do. All right. So um actually, I'll even go as far as saying this. I'll say this last point, then I'll continue forward. Remember how I said that the devil and God, people think that it's like the devil versus God, devil versus God. How many people thought that, right? First of all, there is no devil versus God. There is no equal, there is no balance of power, none of that. It's God letting the devil, controlling the devil as, like, like a little puppet, them running his muck, do his little thing, whatever, right? I'll say this. Now, you know how some people say God versus the devil, God versus the devil, right? It's you have a better chance of saying this that I'm about to say next. Instead of saying God versus the devil, it's more, or should I say, you can get away with saying that God has more of an issue with us. See, confirmation. God has an issue with us, more of an issue with us than the devil. You're probably thinking, what? How is that possible? I'm going to tell you why right now. So, when sin came into this world, right? When sin came into this world, it gave us this undesirable, like, quench for it, to the point where we couldn't have control of ourselves. Some people, it got to the point where they didn't want to have control of themselves. They just kind of, like, completely dove into the sin, into sin, loving it, this and that. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, it's more of a challenge for God to fight us in our minds than the devil. The devil is not a challenge to God. What's more of a challenge to God? God is not. Let me see something. Hold on. I got a little comment real quick. So someone says, okay, so let me. Oh, hold on 1 sec. I got you right now. Actually, I'm glad you even said that, so I can explain that right now too. Who that? John? All right. All right. So I got a John here. John said that God is not evil, but used his own creation evil to guide us. Make it make sense, please. Okay. I mean, I kind of just did earlier. I don't know if you caught it, but I'm gonna reiterate real quick for you, real quick. I'm gonna restate what John said, and I'm gonna touch on it. I'm sure a lot of people already thought about it, and probably, like, they know what the deal is. So John said that God is not evil, but use his own creation evil to guide us. All right. So let me dissect this real quick. We all know that God's not evil. Let me start there. I don't know if you're trying to say God's evil, But if you're already saying God's evil, then we already know the mindset you're coming at, bruh. And that's not the right mindset. Let's start there. But we're gonna ignore that. We're gonna cover everything else. God is not evil. We all know that. All right. If God was evil, we'd all be in a worse position, worse condition, worse position. All right. You think you live in a bad life right now? Nah. You'd be living a way worse life. God is the one. However far you gotten in life right now. See, I'm so like passionate about this. I'm over here like doing stuff. God, however far you've gotten in life right now, you better be thanking God right now. I know you don't even think about it. Don't cross your mind. You probably never thanked them a day in your life. But however far you got in your life right now, you better thank Him. He probably got you through, allowed you to dodge a couple bullets in your life, and you probably don't. I mean, yeah, you didn't realize it. That's the thing. Like, God does things for us in our lives. He allows us to dodge bullets, and we don't even realize it. So one, let me put that statement out. One, He has our backs. We don't even realize it. He's caused you to dodge bullets in life, and you don't even realize it. All right. Let me cover this other part where you said He does not use His own creation, evil, to guide us. Okay. Now the other portion of what you just said, as far as His own creation, evil. Let me say it like this: God did not create the devil to be evil. All right, let me say that as well. That's the next point that I want to say about that comment. Is God did not create the devil to be evil. The devil chose to himself to be evil. All right, let's get that more direct. All right, that's the narrative that a lot of people will kind of get twisted up. They think that God created the devil the way he is. Why would God create the devil? Why would that? Why? Just why? No, that's not how God created the devil. No, He didn't create the devil to be evil. The devil chose to be evil. The devil chose to be rebellious. That's why he fell from heaven. Why you think about what you just said, by the way, and think about what I'm about to say right now. God caused the devil to be removed from heaven. Do you really think He's going to create something that He's going to remove? Okay. I think that point was made. The devil decided to be rebellious. So God removed him from heaven. He fell from heaven, came to earth. That was the end of that story. So God did not create him to be evil. All right? So, moving forward to the third and final point that you just said here is how basically God uses the evil to guide us. Now, the guiding us part, I want to dissect that too. Now, basically, we've already discussed that God did not create the devil to be evil. The devil chose to be evil, right? So what God is, now let me speak about God's personality, His character, right? God, He is a strategic God. He's strategic. He uses strategy. He doesn't just do things blindly and just that's it. No, He uses strategy, right? So what He has done is He thought of ways, or a way, because He's seen basically how rebellious we were as a people, and He's like, okay. And I don't know if you ever read a single scripture, about in the Old Testament, about the Hebrews back in ancient Egypt when they were slaves, this and that. If you know anything about that story, you know how hard-headed we as a people are. We are hard-headed people, and that's just them. I ain't talking about us. I ain't talking about other people in the world who are even more hard-headed. Think about that. Or how do you think God is supposed to deal with someone with a level of that hard-headedness? what do you think he's gonna do? You don't think he's gonna let the devil have his way with you because you choose to be this hard-headed? You don't think so? So what? You just think you just think God's gonna one, he is a loving God. Let me bring that back to the surface, because I don't want to get twisted that he's a hateful God. He's not a hateful God. But what he will do is, he's a strategic God at the same time. What he will do is, he'll do things to get us back in check, get us back in order, get us back in line with him. Even if it means allowing the devil to somewhat have his way with us. So that way we can get bitten or burned a couple times to know. Matter of fact, that's a good example. A child who constantly touches a hot stove. You don't think they're going to learn their lesson? Maybe the first, second time? You think they're going to get... I mean, this is a really good example, by the way. Now, you don't only have to be a really hard-headed person. You had to be a really hard-headed person to keep touching the hot stove. Like, if you are top-notch hard-headed, you're going to keep, it's hot. It's hot. It's hot. It's hot. You're going to keep going. Like, why are you constantly going with it? So, God is going to use... Well, the fact that he is God means that he... Okay, John has another comment. John says, well, the fact that he is God means that he doesn't have to deal with us. It means that he is always in control. Therefore, I come back to why would God use evil? Okay. Oh, man. I mean, let me... You're right. I like that. You know what? I like that. You want clarity. I can't fault you for that. I'm going to give it to you. All right. Because basically we can't move forward in life without clarity. You said once again that, well, the fact that he is God means that he doesn't have to deal with us. It means that he's always in control. Means that he doesn't have... Therefore, I come back to why would he... I'm trying to understand, dissect this a little bit better. In fact, the first part says, well, the fact that he is God means that he doesn't have to deal with us. It means that he is always in control. I'm not being agitation. I want to hear your perspective. No. I know. The way, listen, trust me. Like, the way you're writing it, I know you're not meaning it in a distasteful way. Like, I'm really good with picking up if someone's being like bitter versus if you're just speaking out of understanding at the same time. So I like that's why I had to come back and like really just say what I had said before, like the understanding part. I like that. I like that you want understanding about it. So that I can dissect it. I'm gonna dissect it for you too. You know, I like that. I actually like that, and I appreciate you, by the way. I appreciate you for being real. All right. I don't want to make it seem like, you know, it's an attack or anything like that. This ain't Attack on Titans. We ain't doing that around here. All right. But I do like to give clarity too. So the first part you says, well, the fact that he is God means that he doesn't have to deal with us. So how do I put it like this? So I'm gonna take it piece by piece. So the first sentence is, God, he would rather... It's not that he doesn't have to deal with us. He's the kind of God that he wants to save everybody. Like, he's a loving guy. He wants to love everybody. He wants a relationship with everybody. He actually does. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, even the evil people in the world, he does want connection and relationship with you. He does. It's not that he doesn't. All right? But the issue comes in at where if we are so like indulged in sin, in the idea of loving sin and being in sin, whatever it might be, there's different levels to it. I mean, all sin is sin, but you know what I mean? Like there's you know, if you're like a serial killer, you like to constantly kill people, and you get a thrill out of it. You don't seem to want to stop. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, you constantly do it. Like, these are things that if he sees that you're constantly doing something, you're constantly like, fighting him on something. You're constantly being in your way, and you absolutely don't want anything to do with him. That is when he decides, okay, you know what? Now I'm done with you. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my hands off of you. I don't want you to want, because like people think that because, and matter of fact, this has to do with the second part you just said too, actually, where you said that he is always in control. That's actually, I like the fact that you mentioned that. People think that because he's God, yes, he has control of everything. He knows the future. He knows this and that, right? The one thing, and I don't know if you ever heard this one before. I'm gonna tell you right now if you haven't heard it. The one thing that takes us away from God, or let me say it like this, the one thing that God himself will not override, even as powerful as he is, as all-knowing as he is, as much as you think he's in control, the one thing that he does not touch is our free will, our choice to choose. Our choice to choose. He won't step on our feet to force us to do anything that we don't want to do. Basically. All right. So he doesn't control us. He doesn't control us. Like, he wants us to, and let me actually, while I'm talking about it, let me bring this point up too. You know how people say God is love and this and that, right? How can you fully say you love somebody if you don't give them the freedom or right to choose? You can't say you fully love somebody if you want to control them. If you want to control them, then that's not love anymore. You got to give them. It's like having a spouse. You choose them and they choose you, right? That's what it is. I mean, I don't think I've heard of a lot of situations. Well, I don't know. I don't think I've heard a lot of situations where you can force them to choose you. Hey, choose me, and that's it. Because if you force somebody to choose you, then that's not love. You can't force somebody to choose you. They gotta be the one to choose you. It's the same thing with God. Same exact thing with God. He don't control us. He don't control, like, that's, like I said, the one thing that can take us away from God is our choices, our decisions. There's a lot of people in the Bible who was even walking with God. They were walking with God, and because they chose their own way, what happened? They took themselves off the path that God had for them. You can definitely walk with God and then take yourself off the path that God had for you. The path that he preferred for you to be on, we can take ourselves off of it. Let me see, hold on. And to pinpoint the last part, how you said, why would he still use okay, and then basically he, quote unquote, uses evil by basically allowing us to get burnt. If you remember the example I just gave you with the baby or the kid touching the hot stove, that's kind of like the same tactic that God uses for some of us who are hard-headed. But he lets, like, evil in a sense have its way. Like, he might not let evil take you out, basically. Like, he won't, like, if you look, yeah, he won't let evil take you out. He won't let evil go to the point of taking you out. You know, don't mistake God being like, oh, go, you know, completely taking his hand off of you and abandoning you. He's not abandoning you. He's not doing that. But it's only when we're being hard-headed that he will use. When we're being hard-headed and we're not listening to him, things like that, that's when he will use certain tactics to get us back in check. And he won't be the one to do it. He'll give us he'll give us tests, but he won't like put us through it like how the devil would. The devil's out to destroy you in a sense, or to give you more torture. God doesn't take pleasure in torturing you himself. He's not a torturer. It's not even a word, but I just created it. He's not a torturer. He wants to see all of us win. But once again, when we're hard-headed and rebellious, that's when, and the Bible even says this basically, where he basically gives us over to ourselves. Like, he'll take his hand off of us and be like, all right, I'm done. All right, you want to do it your way? We're gonna do it your way. You want to have it like BK? Have it your way? Okay then, have it your way. And he takes his hand out off of us. Yo, what's good? What's good? Yes, sir. What's good, brother? Y'all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Follow your boy. Follow your boy. We on the topic of the two witnesses. We're talking about the two witnesses today. All right, let's get back on track too. Let's get back on track. Oh, and you know what, John? Oh, that is what I was trying to find out. Yeah, my bad. I was meaning to make another comment towards you, bro. So yeah, John, bro. Like, that's pretty much what it is. I appreciate you, bro. Keep being you. Keep being you. Keep being real. You know what I'm trying to say? I can tell you got a good heart. Just keep pushing forward, all right? I want to see you win, for real. And then hopefully we are coming out of a season of evil into a season of understanding. You've done, I have a cool story. It's live now, so it is not the reaction to our own. All right, so I got two comments here. Yeah, head split. Yeah, I agree with you. Hopefully that's powerful. That hopefully we are coming out of, you know, an evil season. Into a season of understanding. That's a powerful one, bro. Yeah, I do hope that we are coming out of evil season and we're coming into a powerful season. I really do hope that for a lot of us, because, you know, I'm sure a lot of us we've had it. I'm sure a lot of us have had it. You know, we've been through a lot. I'm sure a lot of us been through a lot. You know, we want to, you know, we're trying to win this next season. We're trying to win. And then head split. You also said you want to collab after you're done. I have a biblical story and ordinance with life now. I mean, yeah. Shoot me a follow. Shoot me a head split. Shoot me a follow, and then follow my IG. I think my IG's on my Facebook. Follow me on there too, and message me. Shoot me a message. And then John, he says, so it's not that God punishes, it's the reaction to our own actions. I like the breakdown of that, right? And because I want to say, yeah, I want to say primarily yes. Primarily yes. It's not that God likes to punish. It's the fact that it's basically a what's the word I'm looking for? It is it's like it's a reaction effect to our own actions. It's just kind of pretty much how you said it. It is a I can't even find the word, but yeah, basically what you said. Basically what you said, John. is basically what you said. If we're in check, if we get ourselves in check and in line, then he too will he'll first of all he'll love that, and he won't he won't need to punish us and stuff like that. You know what I'm trying to say? Like we get ourselves in check in the line. We're not being hard headed. We're not being rebellious. We're not trying to fight him all the time. Like there will be nothing to try to check us on. All right. And has split knowledge is power and truth and faith, and in our Lord and Savior I pray for our enemies. Okay, Hesplit says knowledge is power, truth, and faith in our Lord and Savior. I pray for our enemies. Amen. Yep. And it is good to pray for our enemies. Following, I will hit IG. Where are you from? I'm New Jersey. That's interesting. Yeah, hit me up. And nah, I'm from Florida right now. I'm Florida right now. Right now, Florida. You gotta say it like that. Florida. New Jersey in the house. New Jersey. John says he lets our own consequences happen to us. Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. He lets our own conscience, our own, like, that's really what it is. Like, that's why I had to say it like that, because what he does is he just takes his hands off of us. Like, all right, I mean, think about it like that for yourself. It's like, if you have a kid or you have a friend, you ever been around those friends that you just tell them constantly? You tell the friends constantly, like, you try to warn them on something, you try to warn them about a person that maybe they're trying to date, but they hard-headed, they don't listen. What you gonna do in that situation? When you ever been in a situation like that where you know, a friend try to ask for your opinion, and you give them your opinion, you tell them, oh, nah, I don't like this person for you, I don't think this person good for you, and what you do, what they do, they decide to keep going along with them. They don't listen to you, but they should keep going, and then but what happens is they keep bringing the same issues to you. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, how you gonna handle a friend like that? You gonna eventually take your hand off of them? Like, man, listen, you annoying me right now. Like, you gonna do the same thing? You gonna take your hand off? What you want me to do? Like, I done gave you my advice. I done told you what you need to do, but you keep going to your friend. I mean, you keep going to the same situation. You know what I'm trying to say? And they keep coming to you with their issues. Like, don't come and drop your baggage on me when I'm trying to get you out of it. Like, I can't stand situations like that. You just gotta take your hands off. Be like, listen, bro, leave me alone. That's what you gotta do. It's the same situation, the same example with that. Hold on, let me see. God is not in control. We live with the idea of physical. We need to walk through the temptations and resist and the best we can to follow Jesus Christ. Yup, pretty much, 100% head split. I got family in. Yeah. Oh, that's hilarious. I got my I think my little brother's in Daytona. Yeah, he's in Daytona right now. I got family in Daytona too. Karen said upstate New York. Hey, got New York in the house. New York in the house. Hey. I like New Yorkians. I'm gonna give y'all that. New Yorkians. Y'all. I ain't gonna lie. I think people from like that side of town, New York and like South Florida, we get along very well. Floridians and New Yorkians, we get along very, very well. I like y'all. You guys have a good vibe and energy about y'all. Good vibes. All right. So let's get back into it. Let me try to wrap up a little bit here. All right. So now we're talking about the two witnesses real quick. Let's jump and finish this real quick. Got a little bit more to touch on real quick. All right. Now let's talk about the two witnesses real quick. Now remember how I said to look at it from your spiritual ends. I want you to read, what was it, Revelations 10 and 11. Read Revelations 10 and 11, and it's going to be talking about the two witnesses, guys. I want you to read Revelations 10 and 11, and it talks about the two witnesses, two important key figures that are supposed to be happening, coming to the end times that God are going to use to pass judgment in the world that a lot of churches are not talking about. Okay? This is a really key point in life, in a time in life. I got Ecclesiastes 3:1 reminds us to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. Yep, 100%. Exactly. Exactly. I like that actually. A good verse. Powerful, nice verse actually. I like that. All right. Now also, I want to say this. Notice how, now we're talking about the two witnesses, right? Notice how the two witnesses are only mentioned and come to the scene between the 6th and 7th trumpet, towards the end of the trumpets, all the trumpets, right? If have fought good fight, I have finished the race. Yep, amen. Now, I don't know if you guys, how many people actually, because I made this statement before, I'm going to restate this statement. There are 7 trumpets, okay? There are 7 trumpets. How many people remember, or you remember seeing somewhere on the news or anywhere in any news outlet talking about, even on social media, one of the trumpets was supposed to be, I think it was 3 or 4, was talking about the Euphrates River being dried up. How many people remember hearing about that? I can't even speak right now. Haha. The Euphrates River being dried up. How many people remember that time? What year was that? Was that like 2 years ago? I think it might have been 2 years by now. I think it was either last year. No, it definitely wasn't last year. It had to have been at least 2 years. The Euphrates, when the Euphrates River dried up, that was 22. Thanks for that. Yeah. I remember. That's what I'm saying. Like, I know it definitely wasn't last. It had to have been like last or the year before. So, but okay, 22. I can definitely see it being around 22. So that was one of the trumpets, basically. That was one of the trumpets. That was one of the signs that God made happen. It's like a sign. It's like a sign that God's letting people know, like, hey, listen. It's like a ticking time bomb kind of deal. Like, and I think that was like 3 or 4. What God does is he has the trumpets go off, and he'll tell certain angels to do certain jobs, and that was one of the jobs, to dry up the Euphrates River. Yep, started drought in 22, 23, finding all new things. Yep, it was crazy, and I think it's still dried even now. I don't think it ever. It's still the same way. And that was basically God warning us. That was God warning us. One of the signs. All right. So if that already happened, think about that now. If that already happened, think about where we are right now. Where are we right now? Like, think about that. Like, dang. Like, oh, confirmation. It's like, dang. Like, think about, like, dang. Like, if that already happened, I wonder which trumpet we're at right now. Which one are we at? Cause that was like, I think that's like 3 or 4th trumpet. So we got to be close to like, what, 5, 6, well, definitely past 5, maybe 5, like 6, 7. Yeah, like 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7. I definitely want to say we're past 5. I forget what the number 5, the 5th trumpet was. I forget which one, what's supposed to happen. I can't tell you right now, top of my head. I'll have to look at it. But there's technically not that many trumpets left, basically. All right, and the 2 witnesses are supposed to come right before the 7th trumpet. So the 7th trumpet does not sound till the 2 witnesses come to the scene first. All right. So if we're around 5 or 6, trumpet 5 or 6, then that's where we're around. But we're touching mad close towards the end. And once again, the 7th trumpet, what does it mean? The 7th trumpet means there's a celebration in heaven. And what's that celebration mean? It means that the Son of God has successfully taken back the kingdoms of the worlds. That's what the seventh trumpet mean. A lot of people don't know that. You don't hear a lot of churches talking and teaching about the seven trumpets, when Jesus comes back, the two witnesses, the end times. Like, you don't hear a lot of churches talking about the end times. And that's not by accident. That's on purpose. Because they don't want to keep us knowing what's happening, what's really happening with God. Here's Split Johnson says, in my father's house there are many mansions. I go to prepare a place for you. Yep. Karen says, sorry, my Wi-Fi cut out. Of course, because I'm trying to hear the word. Oh, yeah. You already know. That's what's up, Karen. That's what we're here for. And I'm sorry that your Wi-Fi cut out. I'll be having that issue sometimes too. I'll be hating that. Y'all smash that like button. Hit that subscribe button. All right, hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. We coming through. We getting through. And oh, there it is. I was waiting for you to put that up there. Okay. Head Split says, and I will appoint my two witnesses, and they will prophesy for one. Oh man, I wish I could give you dap right now. Hey, Head Split came through. Hey, I was waiting for something. Hey, I was waiting for that one. Okay, I like that. I'm gonna read it out loud again. Head Split just gave me the Revelations, basically the one verse that talks about. Preach, I see you. So basically, Revelations 11:3 says, "And I will appoint my two witnesses, and they will prophesy for 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth." I love it. Yes, that's what the scripture says about the two witnesses. They're supposed to have it's supposed to be a time frame where, I mean, I haven't even gotten to that part yet, but I'm gonna get into that. But they are basically prophesying, not like other people prophesying. It's gonna be like a different kind of prophesying. It's gonna be different. People won't know till you know. We won't know till we know. Basically, we won't know till we know. All right, but yeah, I like that. Appreciate that, bro. Yes, sir. Revelations 11:3. Everybody, go check that out. Revelations 11:3. I mean, read all of Revelations. Read all of it. Revelations 10 and 11. 10 and 11. To talk about the two witnesses. But if you want to read all of the seven trumpets, I think it starts at like either Revelation 8, at least 7 or 8, something like that. Check that out. All right. So remember, now let's get back to it real quick. The two witnesses, right? They come between, and as far as the time frame, the time wise, they come from like wait, what? I just thought about something. Wait. I just thought about something crazy, you guys. Oh my gosh, bro. Yo. Oh man. Wait, hold on. Let me tell you what I mean. Like what it just hit my mind right now. Right? Because as I'm saying this, right? All right. Let me tell you what I mean. The two witnesses, right? Now, they're supposed to, the time frame that they're supposed to come to the scene, between the trumpets number 6 and 7. Right? What a revelation, bro. Tell me why. The one thing that came across my mind was once I said it out of my mouth, it hit my mind. The two witnesses come between the sixth and seventh trumpet. What's the one thing that's being popularized right now? That's going around like crazy, like wildfire. That's being promoted. That's being, that basically, yeah, it went viral. What numbers went viral? That's crazy. I don't know if they did that on purpose, bro, but that's crazy to me. I don't know. I don't even know if that's where they got it from. I wouldn't be surprised. Interesting. Interesting. I don't want to say the number because I don't know if it's kind of like. I mean, I'm sure if y'all follow what I'm saying, you know, there it is. Yeah, Edgetown just said it. Yep. Fire. So real quick, let me see what head split just said. Fire from their mouths. If any tries to harm them, all right. Let me read this. You know, head split definitely been having my back. I definitely want to read your comment, bro. Says fire from their mouths. If oh man, whew. There you go. Hold on, real quick. Dap number two. All right, head split, my boy. All right, let's read this. Let's read it. From Revelations 11:5, guys. Revelations 11:5 says, fire from their mouths. If anyone tries to harm them, fire comes from their mouths and devours their enemies. Powerful. That's one of the statements made towards them, the two witnesses. Fire from their mouths. Now people think, and this is why I say, when you read it, also don't read it from a physical lens. Read it from a spiritual. Try to read it from a spiritual first, and if it doesn't align with anything spiritually, then you can read it from a physical. Try to always see it from a physical, spiritual first, not a physical. And basically, fire from the mouth is not literal fire, like a dragon's fire. But fire from the mouth can be just your words, the words that you're speaking, words that cut. You know, it cuts. It's like a sword that cuts. All right, now let me see. Controlling the weather. All right, here it is. Controlling the weather. They have the power to shut up the heavens so that it will not rain during the time that they are prophesying. Yep, exactly. Now that part there, I have to do a little bit more digging into myself. The whole controlling the weather and you know, opening up the heavens. I mean, obviously it's all spiritual. It's definitely still all spiritual. Let's start there. It is still all spiritual. But as far as telling you what exactly is happening, I can't do that exactly. I would have to dig more into that one part right there. During the time they are prophesying. Yep, exactly though. All right, now let me read what Edgetown just said. And yeah, Edgetown. That's what I was. That's the number I was that kind of is crazy though. Like, I don't know if that's why the number itself went viral, if you think about it, because like I mean, now that I said it, that's the first thing that hit my mind. Like, wait, 6, like, why I feel like that's crazy, bro. And we know, like, the devil and his people, they do certain things to like tempt God's people. They tempt, you know, they do things in plain sight. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, they do things in plain sight. It's like they try to, like, they purposely try to tempt you under the tape, under the ropes, like try to, you know, do things so that way you can see it. You know what I'm trying to say? You can see it, basically. You can see it, but maybe not completely know it. That's how they like to function. I can't stand them for that. They're annoying. But yeah, that number there, as I said that, because the two witnesses are supposed to come back or they're supposed to do what they're supposed to do between the 6th and 7th trumpet. So, like I said, as I said that, I don't know if that's where it, or, where they got their ideas from. Another actual theory for that number is some people think like it's like some kind of evil condemnation thing towards it, which I won't take that away. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what it is too. If it has some evil history background type deal, I don't know how powerful that is. But I'm just going off of what the spirit kind of just dropped with me right now, with how I felt when I just said what I said, and I instantly thought about that number being so like popularized. So I'm like, that's so crazy. I don't know if that was meant on purpose. It could have been though. Head Split says plagues. They can turn water into blood and strike the earth with every kind of plague as often as they want. And that is in Revelation 11:6. Revelation 11:6 says plagues. They can turn water into blood and strike the earth with every kind of plague as often as they want. Yep. Exactly. And that, once again, that's spiritually. We got to think more spiritually, not just physical. Don't think about them hitting the waters like, Moses did. Like, I ain't gonna lie. At one point, I thought about it from a physical, like for a long time actually. I thought about it from like a physical aspect, physical point of view. I'm like, they're going to be coming here, spitting fire, physical fire from their mouths, bringing actual plagues and bugs flying around or striking the water, making the water go blood red. Like, I was literally thinking about all of that. But I'm like, you know what? I just had a second thought. I'm thinking like, I don't know. I feel like it has more of a spiritual background behind a backdrop versus a physical. They're going to be doing things more on the physical aspect than that, the physical. I truly believe that. Head Split says, because these witnesses tormented the inhabitants of the earth with their message, people celebrate their deaths by sending each other gifts. Yep. That's another thing. That's another point that is supposed to happen. That it says about the two witnesses. It says that the two witnesses are supposed to torment the inhabitants of the world. And basically, when the two witnesses die or are unalived, and I think once again it's not a physical death, I think it's a spiritual death. Because once again, I try to look at things more spiritually first. And I definitely think it's more of a spiritual death. They're supposed to die, or I keep saying that word. They're supposed to be unalived spiritually, like basically put to a point in life where they go so low, where you would think that that's it. Like they're down for the count kind of deal, but God's gonna raise them back up. God is gonna be the one to raise them back up. And the people are going to rejoice when this happens. The people, I think it goes deeper than just the people, to be honest, when I had read that part in the Bible too, where it's not going to be just the people that is going to rejoice. I think it's going to be demons, obviously. That's an obvious. Like, anybody that works for God, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, and if they were like taken out the way or anything like that, of course they're gonna celebrate. And now let's talk about the why the celebration happens. Why are the people rejoicing that these two witnesses are unalived or taken out the way? Why? Because these two witnesses are supposed to be spitting fire, causing issues, causing trouble in the world. God is allowing these two witnesses to do these things in the world. Spitting fire, speaking truth, speaking, just going off. Why do the people hate that? The people hate it because a lot of people don't like truth. A lot of people like to be in the dark. They don't like to be told light or positive things. They don't like to be told light. Think about that. If you're in the darkness, if you're in the dark and you get hit with a beam of light, you think you're gonna like that? Go talk to my little vampire friends back in the days that didn't even exist, or maybe they did. I don't think they did, but it's like hitting a vampire with a beam of light. You hit a vampire with a beam of light. What do you think's gonna happen? You think he's gonna sit there and go sunbathing in it? No. He's gonna burn in treachery. Like, I'm burning. You know, he's gonna be doing all that craziness. Like, that's exactly what happens with the people. Like, people don't like truth. They don't like hearing it. It irks the spirit in them, the evil spirit within them. It makes them like kind of cringe and be like, who made you, you know, how do you say it? Who made you more righteous than thou, or whatever. Like that's how they feel. People don't like to be corrected. It's like they grow up in the flesh, but they still act like kids. A lot of kids don't like being corrected. Some do. A lot of them don't. All right. Head Split says after the 3.5 days, the breath of life from God enters them. They stand up, and a loud voice from the heaven says, "Come up here." They ascend to heaven in a cloud while their enemies watch. Yup, exactly. God is the one that's going to be the one to resurrect them. God is going to be the one to resurrect them. After 3.5 days, you know what? I'm glad you put that part there too, because I want to emphasize on the 3.5 days that the Bible talks about, right? Because a lot of people don't know that the 3.5 days is actually 3.5 years. There is a portion in the Bible where basically 1 year, 1 year, was it 1 year? I'm so sorry. I'm trying to think make sure I'm getting it right. Was it 1 year to 1,000 years to us is 1 year to God, basically. So one day to God is 1 year to God. So it's like a year to, yeah, you got to, anytime you see day, think about year, right? Anytime you see day, think about year. So 3.5 days is actually 3.5 years. All right, it's not actual literal 3.5 days, it's 3.5 years. So 3.5 years is when that happens. All right. In terror. Yup. Head Splits on it. My dog. 1,000. All right. Now, let me see real quick. Towards the end of the trumpet, I declare victory. Yeah. So, yeah. I don't, once again, I just kind of came back to that thought about the 6. I don't even want to say the number, but yeah, the 6. Yeah. The trumpet. The two witnesses come between trumpet number what, and I don't even want to say the numbers because all that craziness going on in the world. It comes between those two trumpets, those numbers. All right, towards the end of the final trumpet, which is this number 7. All right. That they declared, and this once again is when the number 7 trumpet sounds. This is when they declare victory. In heaven. They declare victory in heaven. That the kingdoms of the world goes to the Son of God. That's something huge. That's I can't wait. I actually can't wait. I don't know about y'all, but I can't wait. That'd be crazy. After God rose After God rose the two witnesses, right? After God rose the two witnesses up, after the fall of the two witnesses, that's in order, how things happen in order. Now, basically, the fall of the two witnesses are not and is not. It's not a physical. It's not. I really don't think it's a physical. It's like a physical death. Once again, I think it's a spiritual. Okay. They will be persecuted, though. The two witnesses will be persecuted spiritually. I think spiritually, obviously it'll be physically too. I just don't think it'll be a physical death. They'll be persecuted spiritually and physically, but the death itself, I don't think it'll be actual physical. They will be persecuted and put to death in the spirit by who? The princes of the world, the evils of the world. They'll actually be put to death by what's the one prince? It'll be there it is, the Antichrist. There it is. The Antichrist is supposed to be the one responsible for putting them to this spiritual death, this death. And then that's when God will raise them up after that. Crazy, I know. Especially if you're hearing this for the first time. Crazy. But once again, after 3.5 years of the struggle, because it's a 3.5 years thing. It's not 3.5. The Bible says 3.5 days, 3.5 years. God will raise the two witnesses up. He'll raise them back up. Let me see. Headsplit says the Bible says this beast is given authority. Yes. Headsplit says the Bible says this beast is given authority to make war against the Lord's holy people and to conquer them for 42 months, which is exactly 1,260 days, the same amount of time the two witnesses said. Yep. Exactly. The beast equals the Antichrist. The beast equals the Antichrist. The Antichrist is supposed to wage war against the two witnesses. And let me put it like this. Some people, because I ain't gonna lie, even for myself, even for myself, when I remember seeing that, like around somewhat like the first time seeing that, I'm like, oh no, that's cruel for the two witnesses to be put to death to lose to the Antichrist, right? Like I even said that at one point. I'm like, man, but then I had a second thought. I'm like, you know what? It's not actually such a bad thing. Why? Because the two witnesses, basically, God allowing the Antichrist to slay them is basically God showing his card, his hand too. He allowed it to happen so that way he can show the world that he's God. Think about that. How else could God get people's attention? The best way to get people's attention is to raise someone up from the dead, to raise someone up from a deathful situation, to show them that even in a situation like this, you can still be redeemed. Trying to tell you. chapter 11, we see its violence killing the prophets. In chapter 13, we see its politics and religion ruling the world and the demanding worship. Yep. Oh man. Uh-oh. I just read this point right here that you just put up. I'm gonna read this out loud. I'm gonna read this one out loud. All right. Head Split says, anyone watch Mr. Beast games, you are watching a very satanic thing and person. Anyone wonder where this guy came from? And he is not generous, and I believe he is one of the beasts. Oh man. Hey, listen, Head Split. All I gotta say is, I don't know if you already clicked the subscribe button. Subscribe to me. To also follow me on follow my social media. My social media is on my YouTube. Sorry, yeah. My Instagram is on my YouTube, and that goes for everybody. Hit the subscribe button, but also my social media, my Instagram link. Bet. Yeah. I like, cause the fact you said that, I'm like, yo, cause I literally had the same thought process towards Mr. Beast a few weeks back. I was like, yo, who is this dude? Like, cause it's been said that he has like the #1 like YouTube platform pushing this and that, and we kind of look at his content. I mean, I've never followed him. I never follow. I don't know what he does really. I saw like a few clips that he does. Certain thing that he does, and I'm like, what he does, it doesn't even seem like, yeah, right, like kind of weird. And just the name Mr. Beast, like, it just sounds like the devil's minion just gave you that name. We're gonna take that name. We're gonna to the flow. That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do with that name. You ain't the Beast, boy. You ain't Mr. Beast. You Mr. Cheat, whatever that is. But one thing I will say though about him too though. I know I remember watching a I don't know if you, okay, if you have not already, and this goes for everybody too. Head Split. If you haven't already, go follow what's that one channel? Because I was watching the channel that was talking about that was talking about Mr. Beast. That I saw that was talking about Mr. Beast. Truth Is. There you go. Go follow Truth Is. If you haven't already, or if you haven't seen any of his videos, he speaks about a lot of truth in the world. But that's where I saw the video on Mr. Beast, and it's called Truth Is. You'll see I think I don't know what his image is like. I think like a pumpkin face with like orange face or something like that. But basically, one thing that stuck out to me that he said towards Mr. Beast was, he said something about that same thing that you just said, actually, saying that he's not actually generous, that he's basically like cheating a lot of people. Like the strategy, the way he does it, is he'll go out in the world and basically give a certain amount of money out to people, making people think that he's doing a good thing, but in return he's making more profit back by making people like purchase his items. He knows he's gonna make the money back anyways by the views, on social media. He knows that people who there's something like he does raffles and all that. He makes people drop money for raffles that he knows they won't get their money back, and I don't know. It's all kinds of like schemes and tactics that he uses. But yeah, that's where I saw it about him. So yeah, I don't know, some sketchy stuff. But that's I would say our Mr. Beast, but he ain't my Mr. Beast. I don't know who that ain't my Mr. Beast. That might be y'all Mr. Beast, but it ain't my Mr. Beast. I don't know that. Nah, bruh, we don't do that around here. All right. Let me see. All right. Yeah, nah, for real. Me neither, for real. All right, guys. Let me finish wrapping this up. I got a little bit more to go. Oh, let me see what Head Split said. Head Split said the miracles and deception, the false prophet, the second beast, is described as performing great signs to deceive the world, even making I can't speak right now. Even making fire come down from heaven. Yep. That's what, and that's Revelations 13:13. Revelations 13:13 once again says, the miracles and deception, the false prophet, the second beast, is described as performing great signs to deceive the world, even making fire come down from heaven. So yeah, that is supposed to be the deception of the beast, guys, of the false prophet. The false prophet is supposed to create all kind of signs and wonders of his own, because he's given power basically by, I want to say, the devil himself. He's given power by the devil. Yeah, he's given. I think, because I know it's two. It's right. He said, you said second beast. There's two of them, right? One beast. I think, yeah, no, actually I lied. It's the no, I didn't lie, but the Antichrist. The Antichrist, I believe, was supposed to be the one to give power to the false prophet, or was it the other way around? No, the false prophet gives power to the Antichrist. False prophet gives power to the Antichrist. They kind of basically work together. There are two of them. Yes, they feed off of each other. They definitely feed off of each other, and they're supposed to create signs and wonders of their own. This great deceptions that people think that, oh yeah, they're doing great works that represent God, but they're not representing God. They represent the devil. They're supposed to be deceptions, deceptors. Bugs is what we call them. We call them bugs. In the kingdom, we call them bugs. And we step on bugs. Well, no, we don't step on bugs. Hold on, because bugs got life, so we got to be a little conscious of that. You know, they're worse than bugs. Let's put it like that. Evil people are worse than bugs. Ugh. All right. All right. Head Split also says the concern is the biblical warning is that the beast will be loved by the world because he provides material wealth and solves physical problems, but leads them away from spiritual truth. Oh man. Yeah. I'm gonna read that one again. Powerful. Yes. Head Split says once again, the concern. This is the concern, and it's true. I agree. The concern is the biblical warning is that the beast will be loved by the world because he provides material wealth and solves physical problems, but leads them away from spiritual truth. And you know what? Once again, that especially that last part, leading people away from spiritual truth. That's exactly what a lot of these churches are doing right now. That's what the worldly systems are doing right now. You would think that you would think that because people are going to church or certain churches that they're getting the word. You know, God is not in a building, only found in a building. God is outside the building. God is everywhere, right? People will have you thinking just because you go to church by itself, the four corner walls, a lot of the churches they won't tell you the complete truth. They will not tell you the complete truth. So basically, if you're not being fed the complete truth, what does that mean? That means that you're being taken away from the truth. Because think about that. If someone's not giving you the whole truth, doesn't that mean even a little white lie is enough to completely make the entire thing bad, right? Like someone can give you 99%, or I want to say not 90%, let's say 90%, 90% truth, and they give you that 10% of a lie, then the whole thing is no good. Because you can't lead people in complete truth and light unless you give it complete truth and light. There's no altering it. That's what the devil did back in back in the days with the Garden of Eden with the Adam and Eve. Remember, he said he gave him a partial truth, and he also gave him a partial lie. That's how he's able to deceive the world the same way. His tactic has not changed. His tactic has not changed. It still remains the same. Gives you a little bit truth, and then yeah, a little bit of lie. Head Split says, well, where people endure suffering or perform tasks for money, train people to prioritize money over all else. That's Mr. Beast. Yeah. When people endure suffering or perform tasks for money, yeah, train people to prioritize money over all else. Yeah. Oh, okay. I mean, that's the strategy, and that's how you work. Then I mean, that's what what he does. You know, that's you know, to make money your god, basically. To try to exchange the one true God for that. Boo. Money can't be your god, bro. Money cannot be our god. It's not a good god. People think it is. And then they have a very sad life. You know, their life is sad, or they feel unfulfilled. Like, you can have all the money in the world and still feel like you're empty on the inside. I'm sure if you're watching this and you have a lot of money, you know, you think you got it all, but I'm sure you probably got that little hole inside. You feel like something's missing. That's what that means. Money can't actually, like, give you everything. It can't. It can buy you just about everything, but it can't give you everything. There's a difference. Why do you think so many people take their lives? Why do you think a lot of the wealthiest people of the, you know, take their lives? You had the money. What happened? Because you knew there was something else that wasn't there. And actually, the thing that wasn't there is actually the bigger piece that's missing versus the money. I'm trying to tell you. Smash that like button. Smash that like button. Smash that like button. Hit that subscribe button, you guys. Yeah. Tell that to all y'all rich friends, for real. Like, money can't, you know, give you everything. That's why you see so many stories of, like, you know, you see stories of, like, people who are for sure, like, for real, like, they're wealthy, and then, like, maybe, like, I don't know, they lost a decent portion of the wealth, right? Or they lost all of their wealth, right? And you hear stories about them jumping out of, you know, story buildings, taking their own lives. Why? Because they decided to make money their god. Money is a bad god. Money only works for so much and for so long. But God is eternal. God is forever. He's forever, and he's everything. Like, you got him, you can be a homeless person. If you got God, you're better off than the wealthiest person. I know a lot of worldly people probably won't agree with that. They'll probably be like, "What? No, that can't be right." Like, if you got all the money in the world, you're better than a homeless person. Not necessarily, because, like I said, if you are homeless and you have God, then you have everything. If you have God, you have everything, because God is definitely everything. You know, you can't override God. You can't say God's not everything, because guess what? You know how many stories of people who were homeless, but because they, you know, God was with them, God turned their story around and made them not homeless, and probably even blessed them, like, who knows how many X amounts, by, you know, by a lot. Head Split also says, then I saw another beast rising out of the earth. It had two horns like a lamb, but it spoke like a dragon. Yep, Revelations 13:11. Oh yeah, you going in there. You going deep in the dungeon. Yep. That's speaking of the beasts and all of that. It deceived the inhabitants of the earth. Revelations 13 through 14. Yeah. That's the end days. This is what and you know what's crazy? This is what is not being taught in a lot of the churches. They're not. I was literally thinking about this a few maybe like a few months back. I'm like, and as I'm saying this, I want you guys to think about this too. I want y'all to think to yourselves right now, right? About a few weeks to a month ago, or a few months ago, I was thinking like, you know what? When was the last time you really hear the churches talking about the end times, or like the book of Revelations, the beasts, the two beasts, just talking about that, just talking about the two beasts of the end days. You don't hear them talking about that. They're not talking about the two beasts who comes to like deceive the world. You do not hear the churches talking about the beasts of the end times deceiving the world. You just don't hear it. All you hear him talking about is Jesus loves you. Jesus loves you. Ignore anything else. Jesus loves you. Forget judgment. Forget what's coming in the future. Forget Jesus coming back with a sword, with judgment. Forget all of that. Just know that Jesus loves you. That's it. That's all you need to know. That's what the church is doing. And remember what I said? A little white lie is enough to throw the entire thing off. They only feed you a little portion of it, but they don't feed you the other half, and that's enough to throw people off. What the Father allows is allowed is oh, my bad. What the Father allows, if allowed, we must pick up the arm of God and protect the ones not capable and innocent children. God's kids are not for sale. Yup. Exactly. What the Father allows, if allowed, we must pick up the armor of God and protect the ones not capable and innocent. Powerful statement. Powerful statement. Hold on, let me see something. Matter of fact, what I'm going to do is... Hold on, I got that one. I like that. Yes. What the Father allows, if allowed, we must pick up the armor of God and protect the ones not capable and innocent children. God's kids are not for sale. I agree. Hoorah. Yeah, 100%. You know, our job is to protect the innocent. Our job is to protect the kids. I mean, us as men, our job is to protect the woman and the kids. It's woman's job to protect the kids and the home, society, things of that nature. It's men's job to protect society, the woman, the kids, and society, and all the above. Like, you know, like, we are the ones that are supposed to be in charge of protecting. We're protectors. We're God's people. So if you see evil coming around, you see people fighting in the street, we're supposed to be like, hey, you know, protecting. We're the protectors. You know, so when I see like, we can go on days with this. When you hear stories about like seeing evil happening in the world, with hearing about the kids and all that stuff, you know, don't let me see. Don't, man, oof, boy, I'm trying to tell you. Nate says, too many churches worried about pop culture. Jesus will fix your problems while avoiding sin and repentance talk. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Too many churches are worried about pop culture. I like that, actually. That was a good one. Actually, that's that. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me save that one. That's a good one. That's a really good one. Good job, Nate, bro. That's a good one. I like that one. You're right. Absolutely. Too many churches are worried about pop culture, talking about Jesus will fix your problems while avoiding sin and the repentance talk. Exactly. Because they claim it, they see it as judgment. Oh, you're passing judgment. Now you're judging my, you're judging me too much. Like, no one likes accountability. Once you start talking like that, then they start like, getting the defense card up. Start saying, "Well, you can't judge me. You can't judge me. Only God can judge me." Meanwhile, while it's the same exact time that they're saying it, they're not realizing that God is judging them. Like, come on. Like, come on, bro. God, once we already talked about this. God is he loves, but he also judge. He loves, but he judges. Head Split says, "I fear God more than anything. He is the eternal. I don't want to burn from being reckless. It's scary that you can die not asking for forgiveness and burn for eternity. That is scarier than anyone on earth." That's my exact same thought. My exact same thought process. That's why I always say one of my biggest things is I don't care what people think. We can't live scared, caring what people think. Like, you can't think about it like that. Like, what kind of life is that, by the way? Like, why would you want to live a life like that? The one life you have, the one life you have to live, bro. Like, you're gonna really care what another person thinks so much about you? Like, that's not the way to live, bro. That's a waste of a life. I consider that a waste of a life. Like, that's sad when people care so much about what people think. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Don't Head Split, you going deep in the water now. Hey, yeah, Head Split going in there. You bring a turning point. You bring a turning point into this. Ha. That's a whole other topic for a whole other day, boy. We can go on days with that one. Please turning point. Satanic and please turning point. Satanic and has fooled a lot. I hope now you see Romanian angels, defense contracts. That's deceiver and killed someone they want us to praise as a prophet. The guy was loaded. Oh man, I want to read this one again. Let me read this aloud. Oh man, man, you're going deep in the water right now. And my this one just hit 4%. I'm really not trying to stay on too. You guys are on fire today, man. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys for real. And I hope you guys, already hit that subscribe and follow me, because I want to keep y'all in the loop. I'm gonna read this real quick. Head Split said, "Please, turning point. Basically, for everybody who don't know, Turning Point USA, right? I mean, you already know the whole Charlie Kirk situation. We don't get too deep into it. That's a whole nother rabbit hole for another day. But let me read what Head Split got here. He says, "Please, Turning Point is satanic and has fooled a lot. I hope now you see Romanian angels, defense contracts. That's deceiver, and killed someone they want us to praise as a prophet. The guy was loaded." Yeah, that like I said, that's a whole rabbit hole. That's a whole rabbit hole of its own. A lot of people fell for it. I'm not gonna say much more past that. Woo! That is a rabbit hole of its own. Man, that's a rabbit hole of its own. That's why I'm not gonna go too deep into that one. I'm just gonna leave it at that. A lot of folks fell for it. That's all I'm gonna say. Talk about stage. Got some actors out here, boy. I need to win a Grammy nominee or something. That's it for yup. Hey, you my dog, man. You already know. We here. All right, let me wrap this up. Let me wrap this up, y'all. This was definitely fun, man. I love you guys, man. All right, let's go here. Okay, so they declare victory. So basically, the fall. I want to end it here. The fall of the two witnesses. Ooh, they definitely caught the side of the curb there. That, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh at that. All I heard was a all I heard was a. I'm like, what was that? It sounded like a velociraptor. Like, I'm like, oh Lord. Yeah, they kind of, somebody just kind of chipped the curve there. I ain't mean to laugh at them, but God bless y'all soul, man. You be alright. Okay, let's move forward. Let's move forward. Um, now the fall of the two witnesses, right? The fall of the two witnesses are, once again, remember I said it's not physical. I think it's more of a spiritual thing, right? They'll be persecuted in death. The worldly people will have, they'll basically love the fact that it happened. God will raise the two witnesses up, right? And after being persecuted, this is what I want to get at right here. After being persecuted and humiliated, because I think it's more of a humiliation kind of thing. Persecuted and humiliated. That's why there was a celebration with all the evil folk. By the principalities and the public eye, God will raise them back up and will vindicate them. All right, he'll raise them back up and he will vindicate them. And there, once again, the Son of God will have reclaimed the world. The Son of God will have reclaimed the world and the throne. The world and the throne. That is what's supposed to happen. After the two witnesses, amen, bro. After the two witnesses are resurrected, right? After they're resurrected, okay, this one has charge. I want to get this one charged. The two witnesses are resurrected. That is going to be the sign that the seventh trumpet will sound. So basically, it's kind of, and you know, man, like, I ain't gonna lie, like, just talking about it, it kind of, man, it's how do I say, not like a scary thing, but it's more like a, hold on one second, actually, let me put this on charge. Let me put this on charge real quick, because I ain't not trying to deal with nothing dying on me. That's the last thing I want to deal with. Yeah. Hold on. Okay. Okay. Make sure my AC's on me because I've been getting roasted. Alright. So, 3 trumpets have already been blown. Oh yeah, we're so past 3. I think 4 or 5. We're around 4 or 5. I gotta reread the trumpets and see the points. But we're definitely past 3. We're like 4 or 5. 4, 5, 6. Like we're approaching. We're approaching. We are approaching. And hold on. There it is. So one thing that I will say though is when the 7th trumpet sounds, once again, this is supposed to signify that it's the end, and not in a bad way. Why this ain't charging? Oh, tripping. Jericho.
Jericho. Joshua 6. 7 priests blew 7 trumpets for 7 days, culminating in the collapse of the city walls. Yeah, I remember seeing that too. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting times, to say the least. There was another point that I wanted to make, but I'll probably make. I don't know. It gets pretty deep. I can't speak on it yet, but I'll probably speak on it like in another something else. I don't want to say anything too much too soon. I'll leave it for the future. But just know my standpoint on it. The two witnesses. A lot of people think it's gonna be a man and a woman. I mean, haha, no. A lot of people think it's gonna be a man and a man. Two men. The Bible never even says that. Let's say that. It can be a man and a woman, for all we know. All right. The Bible does not specify if it's two males, two male figures. I'll leave it with that. I will leave it with that. And once again, this is why a lot of the churches don't speak on it. They don't want they don't want people to indulge in the truth. They don't. But good thing your boy's here, and we're gonna talk about it every chance we get. So yeah, you guys. Hey, listen. I just want to say you guys have been awesome, man. For real, you guys. Words can't explain it. Words can't explain it. You guys are, awesome family. Gonna keep watching. Thanks for hosting. Oh yeah. Oh, bet. All right, appreciate that, and you'll definitely see more. My feed. I'm on lunch. Interesting. What trumpets do you think it is? When Messiah comes down, and 1 Thessalonians. Hope I have time to hear your answer before heading back. Let me see. Sorry, let me read this again. This popped my feed. I'm at lunch. Interesting. What trumpet do you think? Oh, so yeah. Okay, so I just to give you a really quick answer, and I did mention this already, but I'm gonna say it again. Is Messiah comes back after the 7th trumpet. All right, after the 7th trumpet has sounded, that signifies a celebration in heaven that the Son of God has accomplished and winning the world's kingdom back to God, basically, like accomplishing and winning the kingdom. So to answer your question, the 7th trumpet. The two witnesses are a key point in the entire thing because it signifies how close the two witnesses are to the 7th trumpet. Once the two witnesses are raised up, the event of the 7th trumpet begins. So there's a lot of tying into it. I mean, I can go a little further into it. I'll probably have to do another, maybe like a part 2 portion, but it'll probably be, it obviously won't be very, very long. It'll be touching on that specific point of what happens, or what I think happens in that area, in that specific spot. But to once again answer your question, the seventh trumpet is when Jesus comes, comes back and does what he does. First angel, hail and fire. Second angel, a burning mountain. Okay, there you go. Yeah. First angel, hail and fire. Second angel, a burning mountain. We've already seen that happening. A lot of burning, mountains and wood places, like the whole California burning. That might have been it. Who knows? That California burning was pretty serious. Wormwood Falls, fourth angel. Third of the sun, moon, and stars are struck. Yeah, that was, and then they turned dark, leaving a third of the day and night without light. I remember there was a day that I think they I don't know, I don't know if I experienced like seeing it, but I know a lot of people were talking about that specific one where like the day was going to be dark type. Like I was actually looking out for that day too. I don't know if I was outside, if I seen it happening. I don't know if I seen it happen yet. If I seen it happen, but yeah, now that was another one. Yeah, all that, all, and I mean, I think like once again, I think we're past all that. I think we're at the like fifth trumpet or around there, definitely around there. We're past, because remember the Euphrates River's already dried up. And which one was the Euphrates River? Which number was that? I think that was either 2 or 3. I don't think it was 1. I think Euphrates River was 2 or 3. The first where a star falls from heaven and given the key to the bottomless. Fifth, yeah, the fifth angel first falls from heaven and is given the key to the bottomless pit. Sixth angel, 4 angels bound Euphrates River. Okay, there it is. Sixth angel for bound in the Euphrates River and released. Seventh angel, the final blast signals completion. Let me see. Fifth angel, the first from heaven, given a key, bottomless pit. Yep. Bottomless pit around the Euphrates River. Yep. 4 angels bound the Euphrates River. Released. Yep. We are most definitely in the last days. Yep. Exactly, James. Definitely the last days. And you know what? A lot of people don't even know it. A lot of people are not aware of it. You know, they're not being taught or told a lot of that. A lot of people are not talking about the end days, the last days. I'll even go as far as saying that's why you see all this stuff happening in the media and around the world. It's a distraction. They're trying, like, basically think about it like this. God has his own plans going on, right? God has his own plans, and then the devil has his plans trying to distract people from God's plans. That's how it's happening. Like what people see physically in the world in the media, that's not the real thing to be focused on. The real thing to be focused on is what God is doing. But the devil don't want us to focus on that. That's why you see so many distractions going on in the world, in the media. Like it's so much nonsensical stuff too. It's like stuff that don't even make sense. Like they'll use whatever star or politician just to like put them in the limelight and be like, oh, Joe Biden tripped on a stair today and he missed one step and he fell. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? They'll say anything just to kind of get your attention at this point. Like it's just weird right now. Some people believe as soon as September-ish of this year. Probably, yeah, right. You're right. Oh, yeah, I don't know. Oil in your lamps and get your house in order. Yes, correct. Be ready. Be ready. That's all you can do is get ready, be ready, stay focused, you know, try to be obedient. You know, keep fighting the flesh every day. The fight is more so with ourselves. You know, keep fighting your flesh, keep staying ready, man. Uriel, Raphael, Ragael, Michael. Oh man, you bring all the names into here. Yep. Ramiel and the literal text of Revelation, they remain anonymous, servant of God's will. Yeah, you going in, you bring the names. Hold on, let me see something. All right. 7 bowls that follow the trumpets. Yep, 7 bowls that follow the trumpet. The 7 bowls of wrath. I was just about to say that, and I saw that. I was about to say it, and then I saw it. The 7 bowls of wrath. That's what the devil doesn't want people to be focused on. Is God's judgment. The seven bowls of wrath. He wants us to be so distracted with all the things going on in the world, like, oh, Kim Kardashian, she, you know, got something done on herself done today. I don't know. Like that's what I'm saying. Like they'll create any side story right now. You know, why you think they one of the, well, I mean, I was gonna say the situation that happened with Drake, him and Kendrick. But that was actually he that was, I think that, I mean, I don't know, that could have been a distraction as well, a huge distraction. But I mean, I kind of also want to say at the same time Drake kind of did that to himself, because I heard he was trying to like attack the evil people of this world, their industries, and the people were trying to put him in his place, I guess. So that's what they did. They used another artist to diminish his character, or his just his name, you know. And yeah, I mean, he did it to himself. I can't use that example. I don't know if that's a good example. But there are definitely a lot of things going on in the media. They're trying to keep people away from the truth, away from what's really going on. Distracting people. A lot of that's going on. So just just like my boy James said, is just keep your lamps filled, guys. Keep your lamps filled. Stay ready. Stay ready for the second coming. Once again, that's why you hear a lot of churches talking about when Jesus died for you, but you don't hear a lot of people, like churches, talking about the second coming. Think about that. Ask yourself that. Have you heard a sermon on churches talking about the second coming? The second coming of Christ, of the Son of God. You don't really hear a lot about that. You don't. And that's not by accident. That's on purpose. That is on purpose. They don't want you to know a lot of the truth. You don't hear them talking about the two witnesses, because that's too close to the second coming. Certain events they don't talk about, because they're paid to not talk about it. They got to keep us in the dark. First bowl, people. Second bowl, the sea. Third bowl, fresh water. Fourth bowl, the sun. Fifth bowl, the beast throne. The sixth bowl, Euphrates. Wait, Euphrates was the sixth? Because that happened way, like, well, we all know that happened in 22, so that's a long time ago. I didn't think Euphrates was the sixth one. Wow, seventh bowl, the air. That's crazy then. If Euphrates was the sixth one, and that we all know Euphrates, that was like years ago. Wow. Interesting. Wow. Well, at least we know where we're at. At least we know where we're at. Dang. If the Euphrates was years ago, and that's the sixth bowl, we may be past the trumpets on the last bowl. Past the trumpets on the last bowl. I mean, like I said, yeah, we're definitely on the last at this point. We're on the last. We're just on the last bowl. So that means God's wrath is not that far. God's judgment is not that far. You don't hear a lot of churches, even today, which is crazy. Like, that's how you know these churches are paid off to not speak about it. Because if all these events have happened and these churches are still not talking about it, that's telling you something. That's crazy. We're so close. People they're not even talking about it. Let me see. Let me see what head split said first. It says we may be past the trumpet. Oh, I already read that one. My bad. I'm rereading the same thing. My bad. James said you have a new follower, brother. We need meat, not honey. Yeah. You're right, man. Like, and appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that, and you're absolutely right. We need the meat of the word, not don't give me nothing watered down. We need the truth, and that's it. Like, we're not here to be placated to. We're not here, don't just give me like a portion of it and just send me my way. Don't give me something that I you can kind of like just give it to me where I can just feel good. Don't give me no feel good word and that's it. Like, that's not. Yes, it's good to hear feel good words. That's why they do it. And you know what? That's how the enemy works. If you think about it, that's how the devil works. He'll give you messages where it's like, it feels good, and that's it. He'll give you just enough to like keep you coming back, but for that, and that's it. Like, he won't give you the truth. He won't give you the entire truth. He'll never give you the entire truth. He'll give you a portion just to make you like satisfied and happy. You know, I'm just thinking back on the churches that I, like all that. Like that's what it is. That's what it is. You know, we need truth, man. You know, and in a time like this, especially in a time like this where you see a lot of evil happening in the world, we need it more than ever. We can't be sitting in the dark, man. Me personally, like me being a person that care about care about people, I care about you guys. Like I'm trying to see y'all win. I ain't trying to see nobody go out, like any kind of way. I'm gonna do what I can do. I'm gonna do what I can do. Like if I got some kind of knowledge, understanding of something, I'm gonna bring to the forefront. I'm gonna bring it to the forefront. You know, a lot of people are in the dark, and the people who rule this world, they don't want people to come to the light, and we fighting against that. We will not bow down. We will not bow down. Say it with me. We will not bow down. Hey, turn up. Ah. Nah, but for real though, you guys, hey, it's been fun, man. It's been fun. It's been real. You guys are awesome, man. Like, I can't even, like I said, words can't explain it, man. Your energy is amazing. You know, I, yeah, that part. I can't even, like I said, words can't explain it. Words can't explain it. You guys are awesome, man. I appreciate you guys. I really do. Um, Obviously you won't hear the end, the last of it. Just follow your boy. Follow your boy. I'd say my social media is even on my my YouTube as well. So if you guys want to follow me on there as well, you know you have a closer look at everything else. Boom. I think it's my Instagram and my TikTok is on there. My Instagram and my TikTok is on there. So yeah, shoot me a follow on there as well. I'll follow you right back. You already know. And I mean, I'm sure you guys probably don't know this as well, but I also drop music as well. I do music as well. I do, yeah. I was gonna say I do music, but that was gonna sound so crazy. I do music. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. It's not funny. Um, but I do music as well. I have an album that I'm working on. I'm gonna be dropping that really soon. All right, Nate, bro. I got a few things out already on my page already. I got a few songs. I actually just got started, so take it easy on your boy. I just got started. I'm tweaking a few things. I got a few things that I'm working on right now. I'll be releasing it soon, and yeah, you'll definitely hear more. You'll definitely hear more. It'll only get better as we go. So it'll get better, be better. You know, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna have fun. It's gonna be an exciting journey. 2026 is gonna be a good one, I feel like. So if y'all ready for the ride, buckle in your seatbelt, and we gonna be on that roller coaster. It's gonna be one. Y'all never know. Your boy make it big. I'm just saying, might do some kind of raffle or something for like free tickets type stuff. You never know. All that's up in the air. One day, who knows? I'm just saying. I will do stuff like that though. Like giving out like free stuff. God's willing. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, you guys, I'm gonna end it around here, so I can get the day going, and I can definitely give you guys the day back as well. I don't want to keep you guys all day or anything like that. But this was a good one though. This was a good one. If you guys haven't already, once again, watch this again. And then also, you guys also haven't already, I just finished once again a not series. It was a two-part talking about basically speaking to both men and women on how you can find your spouse. I just posted that video the last 2 weeks. So if you guys are, you guys want some pointers on that, I spoke specific on one video. I spoke specifically to the woman, and on another entire video, I spoke specifically to the men, teaching, exactly to each one how you can find your spouse. And I just posted that past 2 weeks. So you guys want to get a little, get some pointers on that, check that out. Check that out as well. All right. So yeah. Once again, it's been real. Y'all been awesome, man. Love you guys for real. You guys are amazing. Smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, follow your boy if anything too on socials. You guys are awesome. Love you guys. It's your boy Truth. It's been real. On Truth Be Told, holla at your boy. Yeah. Catch you guys on the flip. I love you guys, alright? Y'all have a blessed rest of your day. Y'all have a blessed rest of your day for real. Alright, y'all. Holla at your boy. Oh, I see you out there. Oh, I see you on the talk head split. I see you on the talk head split. I see you. Bet. Alright, y'all. Holla at your boy. Follow me on socials. Alright, y'all. Have a blessed rest of y'all day.